So shall we go ahead and start? So we'll do inshallah 2 ayats of Surah Al-Baqarah today. Ayat number 18 and ayat number 19. Both of these ayats are still about the munafiqeen. We are having a discussion about the munafiqeen, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues talking and giving an example how these munafiqeen are and what they are doing. So in this ayat number 18, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses few words about them. Okay? So we'll do a simple translation first. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Summum bukumun umyun fahum la yarji'un. Summum is someone who cannot hear, a deaf person. Bukumun, a person who cannot speak, dumb person. And umyun is a person who cannot see, blind person. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that these munafiqeen are like deaf, dumb and blind. They have no understanding, they cannot see the truth, they cannot perceive it, so they cannot be normal human beings. Okay. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Fahum la yarji'un, they are not going to come back. They are not going to return to the right path because the guidance which is coming to them does not get into their hearts. Okay? So that is what the example of munafiqeen is. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues in the next ayat saying, another example of the munafiqeen, aw kasayyibin, or their example is like the heavy rain storm, okay? Minas samai, which is coming down from the sky. Rainstorm, heavy rainstorm. Fihi, in this rain, in this storm, is dhulumatin, is a darkness. It's dark all around. Wara'adun, and there is a thunder in there. Okay? Wabarakun, and there is lightning in there. Okay? Yaj'aluna aswabiyahum. So what happens when a rainstorm, thunder comes this way? It is so loud that people put their fingers in their ears. So that is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. Yaj'aluna aswabiyahum. They are inserting their fingers into their ears. Fi azanihim is in their ears. Why are they doing? Minas sawa'iqi, from the thunderclap which is happening all around. Hazar al-maut, they are fearful that they will die. Their fear is that they are going to die. So this is the example of the munafiqeen. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Wallahu muhitum bil kafirin. Allah is surrounding these kuffar. All these kafirin are being surrounded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they will not be able to get away from the azab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? So those are the simple meanings of these ayahs. So let's look at the words first. The first word starts with the swad, meme and meme. These are the root letters for the first word. Okay? And this means someone who cannot hear. Okay, so I'm just going to write down, not be able to hear. Okay, that is the meaning of this swad, meme and meme. Okay? And if we combine these, it will become summum. Summum means a person who cannot hear, and the person who cannot hear is a deaf person. So this is the meaning of summum, a deaf person.
Was that the first word? R-I-O-L. Yeah.
Not
Oh no.
Not be able to hear.
Thank you.
Okay. person who cannot hear is swad mim mim. So summun means deaf. Okay. Then the next word starts with these three letters: ba, kaf, and mim. This means not be able to speak. Someone who cannot speak, the word for this is ba, kaf, and mim. And the word from this is bukmun. Bukmun means dumb. Dumb is a person who cannot speak. So this is the example of these munafiqeen, that they are deaf, they are dumb. And the third word here is ayn, mim, and ya, and this means not be able to see. One who cannot see, for that person or such an action, the word ayn, mim, and ya is used. And umyun is a person who cannot see. Umyun is a person who cannot see, means is blind. So these are the three English words for that. Okay. So blind. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving the example of the munafiqeen or the hypocrite, that they are deaf, they are dumb, and they are blind. Which means they cannot see the guidance, they cannot hear the guidance, and they cannot speak the guidance. So this is their example. Okay? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Fahum. Fa means so, and hum means they. So they. Okay. And la means not. And then the next word is from these three letters, ra, jim, and ayn. This means to return. Okay. Ra, jim, and ayn means to return. Okay. And if we remember that if we put a ya in the beginning and una at the end, it becomes they return, present tense and third person. So yarji'un, ya in the beginning and una at the end, yarji'una means they return. They return. But there is a la before that. So the meaning is that they do not return or they will not return. Where will they not return? To the guidance, to the right path. Why? Because they are blind and they are deaf and they are dumb. Fahum la yarji'un, they will not return. And this word that we already know, is we say Raji'un, inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi. Raji'un is from the same one. Raji'un means we return. So Allah, so in this ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that these people who are munafiqeen, those who are hypocrites, will never return to the right path, to the guidance. Okay? فَهُمْ لَا يَرْجِعُونَ. So they do not return, or they will not return. فَهُمْ لَا يَرْجِعُونَ. They will not return towards the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because they have gone so far in their hypocrisy, in their munafiqat, that they have become like a blind person or a deaf person or like a dumb person, and there is no hope that they will ever come back to the right path.
And they are in Bani Israel?
No, munafiqeen, hypocrites in Medina. Okay, those people who say something and they do something else. Okay, so that is the example of the hypocrites. That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving here. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using another example.